piece right here. I'm going to start my limit there. So this means that from 1990 to 2000, Hispanics in the U.S. population is modeled by what is the so X stands for the number of years after 1990. I believe will tell us about the annual rate. So every year, the percent of the population that's Hispanic increased 1991 and be 0.224% higher. In 1992, it'd be 0.448% higher. So after every year, the population grows, Hispanic population grows by 0.224%. All right. So the slope is 0.224. The y-intercept is 0.9. Okay. Is 9. Sorry, not 0.9. So right here, this company has this. The company produces and sells a smartphone of a given revenue. R stands for revenue. That means, and X stands for the number of smartphones sold. So cost. So they're selling it for $89.50. It costs them $54.36 to make each phone, and then they had a one-time fee of $67.90 to make the phone. Not to, a one-time fee to like buy a building or equipment or whatever, or a one-time upfront cost. So we have to take that into account. So we're going to put that into the grapher, and I'll show you what this looks like. Just want to get rid of this. Okay, got it. Now, so we put these functions in here. So we treat them like R of X is kind of like a Y of X. And we put Y equals 89.50X. That's one equation. And the other one, did that go back? Off. Why is that still on? Okay, that should be off now. So that's the revenue function. All right, now I want to hit the home button so it gets back to 0 so we have perspective. And then over here, this is the cost function, so it's also Y equals. This is how much it costs the company to make each phone. Now each phone, meaning the rate of change, each phone costs $54.36, but there's a one-time fee, like a Y-intercept. It's like a upfront cost, like a machine or a building or something you pay for once. All right, so there it is. Now, obviously, this graph doesn't tell us anything. We have to zoom it in correctly. All right. So I want to see where they meet, right? So we know the percent of smartphones. So so we need to find costs, right? We have to need to find the correct X and Y to put on here. So we know we can't sell a negative amount of smartphones. So that's got to be 0. We have to find like where's that point where they come together, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what the graph looks like. No idea. Let's see about now Y. What's Y stand for? Y stands for the second one. Oh, yeah. X stands for the phones sold, and Y stands for the amount of money made. So each one's $100. So that's going to be bigger. The Y's got to be bigger. That's money. That's revenue. Money coming in, right? So that can't be negative. Let's see if I can put that revenue in there. Sorry about that. I got no idea. Just made up those numbers. Oh, pretty good guess. All right, so one of them is a revenue, one of them is a cost. Let's see what it says for us to do. What's the marginal revenue of a smartphone? So, marginal revenue. Okay. So when they talk about marginal revenue is the amount of money that you make per phone. Okay. So since forgetting the upfront cost, if you sell them for $89.50 and you so if you sell for $89.50 and it costs you $54.36, that means and it should be $35. $35.14 is about how much you make per phone, notwithstanding the upfront cost. Okay. So right there. So marginal revenue, what's important here? Marginal is equal to revenue minus cost. So basically, profit is equal to revenue minus cost. That makes sense, right? The amount of money you take home is equal to what you got in, revenue, minus what it cost to pay for what you did. So a lot of people forget to use these parentheses. So your marginal revenue there is 35.14. That's how much you make per phone. And then you have to subtract off the 667.90. That was your upfront cost. So this equation right here is expressing the either called a marginal revenue or profit. I like to say profit in class, P of X. Okay, so that's our profit. So what's that mean? That means we're making about $35.14 per phone that we sell, and then minus. So I went a step further to show the graph here, and shows you that you have to sell about 193 phones at 193 phones. You'll bring in this kind of revenue. So where are they going to meet? You have to subtract those two, and our margin revenue is going to be Y equals, what was that again? It was 35.14x minus 67.90. Okay, now when you do that, you'll see down here, if I go back home, oh, put these away. Just want to show you something here. You have to sell a certain amount of phones in order to be profitable. So when revenue equals cost, right here, you see it together at 193 phones, a little more than 193 phones. Means, remember that profit revenue minus black, the red is the profit or marginal revenue. So what you'll see is if you go down to 0 here, right there, the x-intercept, 193.227. So you have to sell at least, so more than 194th phone is when you start making profit, right? You're not making it, you're in the red here if you're under 193 phones. And you see a profit, you get that same number, 193.227. So when revenue equals cost, that means you're making $0. So the red line takes into account that 67.90, that upfront cost. That's why I want to show you that. All right, so revenue minus cost equals profit. Okay, profit's the same thing as marginal cost.